and I want to welcome you to this live broadcast. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, and it's morning here. Today is the 17th day of June 2025. I decided to quickly do something to say some stuff concerning the insecurity and things that are happening in our land and around our territory, Biafra territory, because it is very, very important that we would continue to talk to ourselves so that we would always wake up. Most of us are sleeping. Most of us are so concerned about personal needs, looking for something to eat, looking for a woman, looking for, thinking about irrelevant things. They might be important, anyways, but the priority here now is what is concerning. Because for you to survive, for you to actually have to marry or to have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or discuss any matter that concerns relationship or those things that I see on social media that people post these days when things are happening, these days that critical things are happening all over the world, all our people are doing. Check the post of many Biafrans. All you see is either somebody's asking about one foolish question about sex, or somebody's talking about food. I mean, it's. I know that most of us have our area that we deal with, or we deal on. Some of us are not good. We have our area where we know we can speak about. Some of us are not used to speaking about political issues and things like this that concerns us politically or as a nation, or talking about events that have to do with real life threats like what is happening in Israel and happening in Iran, happening in Gaza and other places, happening in Sudan and other places. Some of us just read these things and all we do is we express emotion and then we move on. But I want you to understand something, that it comes to a time in life when we all need to be focused, because a particular threat that is dominant, is important to deal with than the lesser activities or the lesser things that concern some little private things that are not a threat to us as a people. If you are going to discuss anything other than the things that are happening now, the terrible things, then you should make sure that you first join forces for us to stop and eliminate or deal with the issues of the threats. Because if the threats are there, you will not survive to carry out all the things you want to carry out in your life and your expectations in life. So you must understand that whatever you are pursuing in life, also cannot be achieved without formidable peace and security and all of that that we need to thrive. Now, the truth about it is that most of us are actually very, very docile in our approach, and some of us are not informed. When I look at Biafra groups and look at the social media posts, I discover that some of us need to really buckle up and come up to understand what is happening. Now, first of all, I want to begin by saying welcome to this broadcast, and I want to say that Chukwukike bless your day. If it is morning, if it is evening, wherever you are, all over the nations of the world, whatever day or time that you are in, I want Chukwukike to be with you and bless you. And let's pray for protection for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He has been in detention for 4 years. 4 good years. In the next 3 days, we'll be talking about 4 years. 19th of June 2021, he was kidnapped and he was brutally beaten. He was beaten to stupor that he almost died. And for 8 days he was tortured. I mean, I know at those times he will be wishing for death because it was so intense, until he was now kidnapped and until he was now extraordinarily renditioned. Yesterday the court was supposed to hold, and I've told us that we shouldn't be endorsing the court. We should follow the court process, yes. We should commend the lawyers, yes. We should talk about what had happened, yes, but we should state clearly that we don't support the the trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This, we should make a culture on our own platforms and our own designs. We should make it a culture to tell the Nigeria government, to make it known to them that we are not in support of that trial. So no matter what we are doing, when we are posting the details of the courts, when we are commenting on the issue of the courts, we should state there that we don't support and we are not backing the trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And we can also create hashtags that we can use personally as a reference or as a depiction of what we are talking about, so that they would understand that for the fact that we are following the process of the court, for the fact that we are talking about the court process, and for the fact that we are monitoring the court process, doesn't mean that we support the trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This is the notion, and this is the idea of what I've been professing all this while and talking about. But I see on social media, all we continue to do is to narrate the activities of the courts, and we don't really say we are not in support. It is important that we put that as part of what we are doing. Thank you so much for joining. Please, as you join in, as we go into this critical discussion today, which I'm going to state so many facts and so many things which would help us also and open our eyes to so many things, please share this broadcast on all your social media platforms. It is very, very important so that people can come across this truth that I am going to profess today, and of which you also support. And also, please like the video, like it. It's important, because when you like it, the people who follow you, those who you couldn't share to, would also see it, and then they will now be part of reading and then know what is happening. And then also, please subscribe. When you subscribe, you help us, have a base so that YouTube can now help to propagate the gospel to other platforms. Thank you. Yesterday, Aloy Jiwako, the council of Mazen Kano, one of the lead council of Mazen Kano, talked about what do they call them now, Ohaneze Ndibo, and saying that Ohaneze Ndibo are supposed to, what are they doing about the killings that are happening in Benue State? Now, first of all, I want you to understand this, that Benue's case is critical because of its proximity or its closeness to the territory of Biafra. You should understand that to invade Biafraland, they want to break Benue. The target is Biafraland, and Benue being the food basket also, major distributors of food items into Biafraland and elsewhere in the contraption called Nigeria. In other territories, Oduduwa territory and Hausa nation and all of that. Of course, Benue is a major food supplier also. And being a major food supplier, it produces most of the food that we take in Biafraland. And its geographical location is critical to accessing the territory of Biafra. You must understand that Benue State is key to the plan of the Fulanis against Biafraland. Some of us don't understand this. Remember, we have some Biafra, territories or communities, Biafra communities, yes, inside of Benue State, and that also is key and central to what we are talking about. You must know also that for the enemy to get close to you is so significantly terrible, as much as it is a danger to your existence. Let's use the case of Israel and Iran, which is happening today. Israel is able to penetrate and deal with Iran very heavily and occupy the airspace of Iran today, because it has been able to put those nations that are close, like Iraq, and other nations that are close, to Iran. It has put them under its control. For instance, if you remember in 2023 also, 22 also, sorry, 2002, was it 2002 or 2003, when Iraq was invaded? The purpose of invading Iraq is to come close to Tehran, because they know that it costs less and it is more efficient when they are close to the target. Now, defeating Saddam Hussein was important because Saddam Hussein was a strong resistance to the spreading or the expansion of the Western ideology. So to deal with, to hold Iraq under ransom, or to ransom, they needed to deal with the man who is in charge of Iraq. Just like you see in the issue of also Libya, to control the people and put their pets as controllers or in the government, they need to bring down the person who is there. So that was how Iraq was conquered. Today we have in Iraq the loyalists of the West, so that when it is time to invade places like Iran and other places, they know that it is easier because they have a puppet in Iraq and other nations around, Saudi Arabia and other nations around close to Tehran, where they can easily penetrate and deal with Tehran and Ayatollah, the president. So now, you see, that the closeness of your enemy to your territory is dangerous, and it costs you more because you must now be more careful than when your enemy is living very far from you. That is why Jesus himself said, or Yeshua Mashiach said, that the enemies of a man are people of his household, and that is why it is more terrible and dangerous. Now, Benue is close to Biafra territory. We must understand this. You can imagine the kind of killings that are happening in Benue. Benue is very close to Biafra territory, and the biggest mistake we're making is that we are just joking with the attack in Benue. Some of us are saying it's Benue. It is not just Benue, it is actually Biafra territory that is the target. And let me tell you something. There is a huge plan to carry out concurrent and sporadic attack in Biafraland. If you don't know this, know this. The men are already on ground. That was why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was taken away. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was taken, and he's been held because they know that him being there is critical to the protection of Biafraland. Because Biafrans, listen, it is under Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that we can come under one umbrella to secure our land. That's the truth. Under any other group, you cannot come. Every other group, like for instance, the autopilot group, they are just on social media making noise and making money. That's what they are there to do. They don't control any part of Biafraland. They don't have the loyalty of the people in Biafraland. Go to Biafraland, you'll see it. They don't have the loyalty of Biafrans. They are only there to collect their resources every time, and they talk, and when it's coming to the weekend, they facilitate and talk more, preparing you for the fundraising. And every activity which is jumbo and is jamboree, it's like placing all of you under a control system that is being brainwashed to think that something is happening when nothing is happening. In fact, since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped and extraordinarily renditioned, the progress in Biafra project has gone down more than 50%. Because it wouldn't have gone down so, but because most of us allowed ourselves to be deceived by some people who are cashing out on our ignorance and vulnerability, and most of us too are tearing down the progress of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by our behavior. Go on social media. Look at the support for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Look at the discussion about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Look at the connection, with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It has declined. Take your statistics. You'll discover that it has declined very drastically, and to pay their obeisance and loyalty to somebody else, either in the autopilot or on people who think that they are having loyalty on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Although on the platform of the DOS, the people actually look up to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the leader. But the mistake they are making is that they are also believing that these ones who are talking on the platform of the DOS are actually for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. No, they are not. Because if they are for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the first thing they would have done is to seek to get to know who are the people in our midst who were responsible, part of selling Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I've always been saying this. Very, very fundamental. They are not talking about that. They are not looking at that. They are not concerned about that. That should tell you they are not loyal to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If I were in the DOS, I would have pressed that we must have a fact-finding committee, and they will come after you when you begin to press, because they know it would also, it will indict them also. They know, some of them there, they know. Some, especially the major people controlling, they are the major suspects to what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So you must understand this in critical dimension and understand it with real understanding and conviction that we are in a trying time. And the problem is basically us, because our loyalty to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has declined. You hear people talking about protests, and all they want to do is to go to Finland to protest. You hear people talking about protest, and all their concern is about. Now, I asked you people one question. The last time I had a broadcast, or three broadcasts ago, I said something. You people, especially for those who are in the autopilot, this is just by the way talk anyways. I'm going to still talk about it more. Those in the autopilot, you talked about having bought a house in Maryland, which Prince went there to take the flag the other time under the auspices of the Accountability and Transparency Group. You said you bought a house that is Biafra headquarters in Maryland, USA. Till date, you don't function from the house. Are you telling me that you bought a house for camouflage? you don't operate from that house. You don't do anything from that house. In fact, the idea of house, let's just look at it critically. If you have bought a house in Maryland as your headquarters, now our people are too gullible. I don't know how these people whose mission is or calling. I don't know whether to say it's a calling. Your calling is to follow. I don't know how you think, because if you don't have capacity of thinking aright and looking significantly on matters, we cannot have a good nation as Biafra. I tell you the truth, because we are going to have Biafra based on sentiments, and sentiments destroy. When you begin to support because it is your man there, or it is the person you like, you support whether it is good or evil, you are bound to fail, because the only person you can believe in and trust fully to do anything 100% and you can support at any time is God. But when you allude that strength, that part of you to a man, when they talk about one man that you don't like, all you do is hate the person, you dislike the person, you unsubscribe the person, you refuse to listen to the person anymore, and all you're doing is that you are just hating the person. Whether it's on the part of truth, you want to look for one way to mess him up, or to disgrace him, or to embarrass him, because he's talking against, he's saying the truth, but you are looking for one thing that he has done wrong somewhere, so that you can use it as an alibi to still rubbish him and then put your obeisance on the person you believe in. Very, very funny and very, very insignificant. I remember somebody who posted something on one Biafra platform on WhatsApp, and he was trying to praise and to, all he has been doing is Simon and all those group and all those. No time he has posted something reasonable about Mazen Namikano. It's about Simon. And I told him, I said, and he talked about when the last killing before in Enugu, before this one now that happened yesterday. He said that if Simon had been here, and I posted there, I said, Simon is not a yardstick for either killing and all of that. He is not the one who is going to control whether he's out or not. Even when Mazen Namikano was there were killings, and Mazen Namikano knew what to do, and at once those things stopped at that particular time. So Mazen Namikano was in control. So if you say that Simon, if he was out, the killings wouldn't have happened, it's a big lie. And stop all these kinds of things. You people should concentrate and know what you are talking about. The next thing he sent to me, he said that he knows me very well, that I am an autopilot. I am Ngozi's. So I now told him, I said, the Ngozi you're talking about today, I was the first person who brought out an expose of who Ngozi Oreboise is, and I told everybody when I was still with autopilot, and I told everybody, including Simon, I produced evidences, and I said Ngozi is a Nigerian agent, and they didn't believe me. None of them believed me. Then everybody was against me, and Simon came online to call me a criminal and call my partners criminals. And we were characterized and called criminals, and now all of you now are now everywhere calling Ngozi or Abu Fulani or whatever they call her, and you are claiming that she is a Nigerian agent. Who brought that stuff? Have you ever given credit to the person and say, oh, thank you, Kelechi, you said it the other time, but we didn't understand it. Now we understand it. And the next thing he sent was that I left Ngozi because I wanted Ngozi to fund my buying a car. He said, look at you see how they reason. they reason like fish. They don't have sense. Suddenly he knows I've said the truth. Rather than facing the truth, he now wants to look for a soft landing, something he would use as to score a point. And when I saw that, I refused to talk to him again. I just sent him one message. And I told him, I said, now I understand. No wonder you are supporting criminality. You are in the autopilot, because everyone in the autopilot has a brain fag. There is something wrong with their brains. They don't reason properly. This is a place where I was not just a member. I was a key person, secretary to 5 committees. If you don't understand the role of a secretary, you understand that the secretary is almost the controller of the whole thing. But I was not controlling anything. I was playing my role as a humble servant to Biafra, and thinking I was under the auspices of Mazen Namikano, not knowing that somebody was trying to use me, Simon, and wanted to use us to create his own platform. And thank God I left before that his platform became created. Because when I was hearing the rumor that they said they're going to change the name from ESN to something else, especially from that one guy they call, who is Simon's relative, who is called Success, I was hearing that Success said it to one of the commanders and all of that, and the commander was telling me, I said, oh, really? And also, of course, not just the commander, also one guy they call what's his name now? The one that was given money to go to Cotonou then, what's the name? He writes and he posts things online. you know, he too was, you know, told me about it, and I said, wow, so they want to change the name. Why would they change the name? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in detention because of ESN. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in detention because of IPOB, and you are not the creator of IPOB and ESN. You don't have the right. All that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said is you should go and broadcast on Radio Biafra. That's all. He didn't say you should come and take control of the structure and then begin to make changes and all of that. You don't have the right. If anybody in your autopilot reasons well, you should know that what I'm saying is just the fact and truth, irrespective of whose ass is God, whoever it is. You should know that what I'm saying is true. You don't come into a body that you didn't build. You are not part of the setup. You don't know how the structure was created. You don't know anything about it, and the owner of the stuff, because he is in trouble, he says, now you go and broadcast because I trust you can speak something on my behalf. You can continue to say the narrative according to how I would say it, because I feel that you are now somebody who has keyed into my thoughts process and keyed into the ideology, and you now understand how my mind is running, so you will be able to speak well and keep the momentum under IPOB burning. Keep the momentum. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu told him to broadcast because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu wanted the momentum to continue, not the momentum of digression, not the momentum of looking for leadership or controlling or building your own platform or changing the name IPOB or bringing down ESN and creating your own stuff. That is not the momentum. The idea is keep your voice there so that you keep saying the same thing that you know that I would say online. That was all. And that was what I expected someone to do. Keep talking about it, and then helping to raise funds to support the ESN, strengthening them, letting them know that yes, even with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu wherever he is, he's still doing wonders through me here. But all he wanted is to hijack and build and change the name and all of that, and then call himself prime minister. And then Ngozi, who we don't even know, came from nowhere, standing up to come and say that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I'm going to give a special broadcast about that. That's an insult on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Coming to say Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the leader of USB. What is USB? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the leader of IPOB. That's what it is. People should reason. Anyways, I'm going to make a separate broadcast maybe tomorrow or next about this particular matter. All I want to talk about now is the issue of Benue and the proximity to the danger that we're in. Because Benue is close to our territory, and if we don't understand the closeness of Benue and the implications of the closeness of Benue, something is critically wrong. That means we are careless people. We must understand and take every move right now as sensitive and as important as it is, because you must understand that when it comes to freedom fighting, every action of every individual is supposed to be probed, or anything anybody does, you must look at it critically, very, very critically, to find out if the truth is in it, because now is the time to have everybody as suspects. The move, the actions, the behavior of everybody is suspicious. That doesn't mean that you have to begin to think that people are criminals. No, you must suspect every move, and then to guarantee that that move is right on the path of truth, you place it under assessment. You assess it very well and make sure that this conforms with what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stands for, and truly it is correct. You must understand this. But when somebody has taken action first to destroy what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has built, saying that he has destroyed, he's banning IPOB and changing the name ESN, then you should know that action alone tells you that whatever the person does, no matter what they do and whatever they do that you think that is moving Biafra ahead, it is a lie. It is actually a plan to this. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been taken, so he thought Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would be killed, he would die, so all he needed to do is to build his own, use his own, and then change the whole thing. That's what it is. But now listen, I was talking about Aloy Ejimako. He talked about Ohaneze Ndigbo. And he said that Ohaneze Ndigbo, what are they doing? Is it until Biafraland becomes like a Benue? Because after the killing of people in Enugu yesterday, he said, is it until Biafraland becomes like Benue before Ohaneze will arise? And what came into my mind was this. In the first place, Ohaneze and their leadership are people who are appointed. The leadership of Ohaneze are people appointed by the Nigeria government, which means they are political stooges placed over the people as a means of social control. Really listen. Now, when it comes to the governors and those who are politically appointed or whatever they are doing in Biafraland, they are stooges placed in those places in Biafra to control the territories politically through the institution of the structure created by those who are the NGOs and those who are the foreigners of the British contraption, whose loyalty are to the King of England. Now remember, so the president of Nigeria, the cabinet, the Senate, the House of Reps, and every political appointee or those elected in offices that are in the Nigeria contraption in Abuja are all subjects and henchmen to the British contraption and the King of England, because it is in the territory with the late Queen of Elizabeth and all those people who were there then before she came in, and her father and all other people who were there before she came in. It was in the palace that the structure and the design and the reason, the purpose of Nigeria was designed and created and planned, written out and given to Lugard. Lugard also proposed ideas when his girlfriend, who became his wife later, who is a drunk also and a journalist, now also proposed the name Nigeria. Formerly it was the British Royal Niger Company. It was designed as a company. Now they now said for them to go ahead so that they can control the people more politically, knowing that political control is strong as much as giving result, because by political control you control the economy, you control the activities of the people, you control the laws that they obey, and you also direct their social lives and religious lives. Because let me tell you something, there is no political stance or political arrangement or a political empire or a political structure that is on its own. Every political design is a product of a religious belief. I'll say it again. Every political design is a product of a religious belief. So before you see any political action or a political structure or a political party or anything, there is a religious undertone to it, which means that the religion is the fact or the basis in which that political arrangement is designed. So you can never have a political design without a religious connotation. It is the religious connotation that breeds and brews and produces the political design. So you must understand this. It is very, very important. So that is why you see in the world, anytime you look at the world from the Bible days and the times of other empires and all of that, in their books and in everything, you discover that anybody who is controlling the people or leading the people has a religious belief, comes from a religious background. That was why when the Romans came in and they occupied Jerusalem and took over the Roman Empire, then the BC, the BC 300 and something. Is it? Yeah, BC 300 and something, when the Roman Empire came in. First thing they did was also to make sure that even the temple in Israel was loyal to them and reporting to them. So as much as the Israelis were doing their thing in the temples, their order and everything was loyal to and was also corrupted by the Roman system of worship, which is connected to the Grecian Empire and the Grecian system of control. I'm seeing someone here, Gaddafi of Biafra TV. Wow. Gaddafi, you are here. Wonderful. I am doing fine. It's been a long time too. Thank you so much for joining. So let me keep on the education here now. Now listen, and thank you so much for joining. Anyone who is here, please, I thank you all. And I know we don't have lots of people watching, but of course I'll keep saying the truth at all times. So now watch it. The people were controlled. They had their religion, but their religion was subject to the Roman and the Grecian worship, because it was. Oh wow, that's good. That's good. Thank you so much. Now it's good. It's good. I'm happy to hear that. Now listen. So when they came in and discovered that a Christ, somebody called Jesus, has come into the scene, and he's now becoming popular. Did you know what they started accusing him of? They started accusing him of going against Caesar, because Caesar was an epitome, or is the epitome of the religious and political power of Rome. That was why you found out that the empire then was against Christ. When they said they came to him about the issue of Caesar, they brought a coin, and they said, who should they be obliged to? He said, whose face is on this coin? And they said, it is Caesar. He said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, give to God what is God's. Now you see, Caesar had a power, and they were thinking that Christ was going to go against Caesar because he was bringing up a system of the real Jewish program of God's purpose for humanity. So now, that was how he was able to skip that. Then the next thing that happened was this. We now discover that along the line, the Jews now plotted in line, saying to Caesar that he has made himself a god, and he's now saying he is God because he calls himself the Son of God. So now he has committed blasphemy, so you must crucify him. Now you know why? Because when you place yourself in the religious sphere and make yourself you begin to create something that impresses on the lives of the people, the political leaders are threatened because they have a mindset of belief which they have made the people think that is should be the real thing they should go after and follow. And remember, the Nimrodic style of worship has already been on until this time. That was why Christ was killed. Then the Romans now instituted a system of worship, continuing with the Grecian worship, which has a Nimrodic connection. After that, suddenly when they began to see that Christianity and the people who believed in Christ was spreading, and in Antioch they now call them Christians, and then it started becoming something very good. Hey, my sister, I know you are here, very much here. Yes, so I can see you. Thank you so much, Ego. Good to have you. Then that was when the Roman Empire now insisted that now the Roman Empire under Constantine now took over Christianity, because they were concerned about their empire falling, because Christianity began to spread, especially when the name was changed to Antioch. I mean, was when their name was, they became Christians, they called them Christians in Antioch, and it began to spread. They began to have different sects of Christians, different style. This one say this is how it should be, that one say that's how it should be, and many sects. Constantine was under a sect that is under his mother's beliefs. The sect, one of the sects his mother was in. And from there, when he saw that Christianity was spreading, and all he could do is to control, he knew that he cannot control without a religious mindset, without controlling the religious sphere of the people, because people die because of religion. Then that was when Constantine, who has now been, converted to Christianity, now made Christianity the dominant religion. And so because he wanted to bring all the Christians, the people together, he saw that the Jews were becoming, most of them were becoming Christians. They were believing in Christ, believing in his teachings. So that was when he now put everybody under him by controlling Christianity. And then what he did was this: controlling Christianity, he now began to introduce under Damasus. Damasus, who was he was appointed as the head of the Roman Catholic, because that was when they brought the Roman Catholic Church, which is Roman Universal. The word Catholic means universal, Roman Universal Church, because religion is key to controlling the people. So you must understand that religion is fundamental. So that is why you see that today the terrorists coming to kill are coming under a particular narrative of religion. Now Damasus now introduced, through with the connivance of Constantine and all of that, began to introduce most of the hidden worship style, or the pagan worship style, like using the sign of the cross, the confession to priests. Now remember, I've told you before that the reason why they were confessing to priests those days was because they use it as a way of religiously getting the mindset of the people and getting to understand if they can get a clue to a particular rebellion somewhere based on the people's actions. When they come to confess to the priest becomes the eye of the political leader, getting information from the people by their confession. So they can sense if there's a rebellion coming in the nation, or something, an attack or something. Somebody comes to confess about something because of what he has heard through religion. Religion became a tool of spying That was what it was. So the confession to priest was not because God will listen to your prayers when you talk to one priest. No, it was a means of spying and understanding that the traditions and the things that are going on. Yes, religion and politics are 5 and 6. That is why you see that any kind of rebellion that comes. Now, why are the Fulanis, always those killers, why are they always connected to the Islamic side? Because you know why? The control of the minds of the people using religion. Most of these guys, in fact, all of these Fulani guys coming to kill are religiously brainwashed. They are religious bigots. They have been told that what they need to do and what they have to do for the nation, is to fight for one God somewhere who has virgins, 72 for them, and a lot of enjoyment and mansion for them to enjoy. Sleep with the virgins, have more other concubines aside the 72 virgins who are the wives. They have other servants, many hundreds of ladies who are going to be their servants, and they will have all of them to themselves. They will drink enough wine. That's why they tell them not to drink wine here on earth. They have to go, they wait until they get to heaven. But they drink wine secretly. And they use that as a means of their bosses and all of that do that. But they use as but they take drugs that make them hardened to kill. For Aloy Ejimako to say that Ohanaeze, I know that he's just putting it. He knows Ohanaeze cannot do anything. I believe he knows. Now, political control was significant, but in the midst of political control, there is this religious undertone, which is actually the basis for the political control. Now, another side of that religious program and political behavior is the social control. This part is very critical. I'm doing this teaching because I want us to really understand some things, When it comes to social control, it is on the sphere or on the template or on the board of social control that you play politics and play religion. Because the way of life of people is expressed by their social approach to things, right? And this is influenced by their religious mindset. And of course, it is also a way of subjecting them to the political narrative that is built on the religious concept that is on ground, using the social behavior of the people as an alibi. So what this means is that because social approach helps to penetrate people, let me take you back to history. In 1860 something, when Osman Dan Fodio, was strong and was coming up strongly, the first thing he did was to have a social strategy to penetrate the Hausa nation. Remember, his father came into Hausa nation, and then his father died there, and he now also was coming strong. He now became a social strategist, or a social professional. Osman Dan Fodio, in his crude way, studied a very good student of Islam. In his shrewd and crude and local way, he was a social professional. He penetrated the people socially to the point that even the king then, I've forgotten the name of the king, made his son a student under Osman Dan Fodio. It was the son that Osman Dan Fodio later killed and took over the Hausa nation. So Osman Dan Fodio was so professional in his social approach to dealing with the people of the Hausa nation. And the Hausas are very friendly. They see, your weakness is that strength that you portray. Because behind your strength is a weakness that makes you portray that strength. So if you don't build an extra protection against what makes you strong in that regard, you'll discover that you will fall. Look at the story of Samson, for instance. His strength was projected and influenced by his weakness to what constitutes his strength. So what happens is this. There is a point in which someone would have to penetrate him to reveal his strength through his weakness. And that was a woman. And suddenly, he projected and expressed and revealed his strength, which is capable of dealing with situations and circumstances at that point in time, because his strength was the reason why he was succeeding, but his weakness was the link to destroying his strength. So that was what now happened. When the woman now got the information, that information was used to bring him to his knees. And that was how of sustaining his strength and moving ahead forward. So you must understand that the narrative of strength comes in the to conceal your weakness or to guard your weakness against those who want to penetrate using your weakness against your strength. Now, that is what social behavior does. When it comes to the issue of Ohanese, Ohanese is a social gathering used to penetrate the people to keep them under a political or a religious style of belief or mindset. So the social program of Ohanese is to make the people socialize with the people, deal with the people, come to meetings, talk about Igbo nation, talk about the stuff, and then help to use them as a means of talking about political strength from their region, having their own person in control and all of this stuff, using them socially to deal with their weakness of their longing and desire for better life. So, but let me tell you something. The social behavior of the people actually is the weakness to their ability, which is, of course, their political strength, controlled by their religious beliefs. So, Hanese is the emotional social platform that helps to control the people under the political arrangement of Nigeria, which means that the totality of the behavior of the people on the social platter, you have the political operations, you have the religious control, then you have the economic program, because it is under the context of the social narrative that you express religious programs and activities. That is where they take your money. That's why you see that when people are brainwashed, just like what the autopilots have been brainwashed to do, the brainwashed people are only always, they are taxed, their resource, they lose money, they lose their ego, their intelligence. They also lose their future, coming generation. You know why? Their money, they will continue to put their money into the program. Look at what is happening in autopilot. In spite of the fact that they have two factions. This one will call for fundraising. Those ones who have gone to believe in this one will give their money. The other ones who call for fundraising, those ones who believe in this one, will go and give their money. The two factions are not funding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case. They said they are for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, right? The two factions, the monies raised are not put in IPOB or used for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If your program, if truly what you believe in is actually for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has said you should broadcast on Radio Biafra, and he's in trouble, and he has lawyers and people working, and you are not able to talk with the lawyers that you want to bring your own lawyers to support them, and you're going to be the one to fund their own lawyers, let them work hand in hand. All you are doing is you are pumping the money into people who claim to have a house in Maryland, and yet in Maryland till today, Ngozi, who is in USA, has not gone to that Maryland to sit there to make announcement or to make broadcast and talk to you. And they told you they bought a house in Maryland, and you are still following. Is something not wrong with you? Ngozi say, sorry, I said Ngozi. Anyway, social gathering, religious gatherings, etc. Many strategies, means of reaching the different targeted publics for control. Yes, that's it. That's what the social thing does. Because in social program, you will sew your clothes. You know, they want to, they make you have a style, a lifestyle, because your cultural behavior is connected to your religious understanding. The culture of the people is what makes the religion. Let me tell you. So if you look at the Igbo nation now, right now, you discover that Christianity has formed basics of the cultural behavior. So it is now intertwined with the natural, the cultural thing we have, using it to, to penetrate the people also in the way of behavior. That's why it is easy for the Christian religion and the cultural behavior of the people to be together, because they are alike. There are people they have a similar way. We are peaceful people. So religion also, Christianity also has a way of being peaceful, not the style that Britain practiced anyway. It's what they used in controlling the people. But we have this narrative of being peaceful and doing things right and wanting people to. And of course, we know that even in our cultural design and all of that, we have people who have corrupted the system, because it is true that we actually worship Chukwokike, but some people have used that means of corrupting the system. That's why we have ritual killings today. We have so many vices and terrible things going on in Biafraland. Now, listen, let me go back to what I'm talking about because of time. I've gone deep in another teaching. I thought I was going to do this teaching in another class, but anyways, I'm going to continue this narrative of what I'm teaching today in another time. Now, Aloy Jumako, you are calling for Ohanese, but I know that within you, you know that Ohanese is a social ground. I mean, a social ground for political activities. So the political activities we have under Nigeria is the Nigeria system built by the British contraption, or built by the British control. Sorry, but British king and the empire of the British, controlling people. On the social ground of Ohanese, it's actually a production of the King of England, or Buckingham Palace. It is what they play, reflecting, trying to penetrate and trying to intertwine it or mingle it with the natural cultural operation of the people. So when they present somebody to you and say this person must be voted for, oh, let's vote for Peter Obi, or let's vote for this one, let's vote for that one. That one plays on the narrative of your cultural and social cultural understanding, and then you think that they are for you. They are not for you. For the fact that they come on your, just like what Osman Danfodio did. He's played his social professionalism and portrayed it, and then the Hausa nation thought he was for them because the Hausas are naturally friendly. He became so friendly, flowed with them, and everything went fine, and they thought that he was in for them. They thought that because he behaved that way, he actually is of course good, and he has a mindset. And because they don't have a guard to understanding that for them to be penetrated is through their weakness of having the strength of being friendly. Oh my God. They had the strength of being friendly, but they never knew that their strength of being friendly is actually a weakness to penetrate them. Everybody's strength is actually the weakness that can be used to penetrate them. Because why am I saying Ngozi? Ngozi or Abweze, be careful wherever you are. That's Nigeria agent. You wherever you are, I'm just looking at these people. When the wrath of Biafra will come on them, you see Ngozi. I remember. You remember, Ego. You are the one who reminded me. What I said last year, beginning of last year. I said before the end of last year, Simon will be dealt with. Simon will be off, and then another set of people will come up and start talking. And it happened before the end of last year, November. Simon was taken. Now they have two factions. All of them are talking. Oh, Simon, we are under Simon. And Simon was here. We are still doing what? Now they are giving it as an alibi. Now they are telling you about 3 R's. They have done the first R, independence or declaration, whatever they call it. They are now using 3 R's to deceive the people. There is another R they have to follow, and another R before they will now achieve the real Biafra. You can't be calling for it. You can't say you are independent when you can't say you are declaring independence when you don't have a territory controlled. You cannot control your territory. You're not even controlling a local government. Even the local government you claim to come from, you are not controlling it. Ego says, yes, some of the 4 so-called traditional ones have also really messed up things by going fetishism, by not going the pure ways nature ordained. Everything that comes to man from God is always, penetrated and corrupt. Everything that comes from God to man, what God gives, including nature and everything, people want to corrupt it. Look at this GMO. A group of people who are humans say no, they don't want you to have natural seeds anymore. They want to be giving you seeds that they have created by themselves. Truth is always constant. Yes, that's the truth. Now they begin to create and they want to destroy nations. And that is what is happening in Africa. Some of you don't understand that the 2 things that are happening in Africa, especially Nigeria and other parts of Africa, are 2 things. One, they are trying to penetrate your agricultural lifestyle or your agricultural sector, and they are trying to penetrate your health sector. Now, most of the hospitals in Nigeria today, they can take your organ, they can take any part of your body without your consent, and you don't even know it. That is why you see most people are dying. The rate of death in hospitals these days are so terrible. You know why? The arrangement with Bill Gates Group Foundation and all of that have made it possible with the arrangement with the government. They have paid so many doctors. They gave them a lot of money in the health sector, for them to be able to take people's parts without their consent. Now look at what they are doing with the GMO food and all of that. Today they are trying to use the Fulanis to destroy the crops, the natural crops of the people, and then they will begin to send you seeds. When you plant that seed, it destroys your soil, so that when you put natural seed in it, it won't grow. You will only be able to plant their seed they give to you. And when you plant their seed, when it grows, you cannot plant the seed of the fruit that comes from that seed. You must go buy another seed from them. It doesn't grow, and it doesn't have the nutrients for the body, the good nutrients for the body. Now, these are the problems. Now, let's go to what we're talking about. I was trying to make you understand. I want to say so many things today, but I think I'm going so far in some other information. Now, Aloy Jimako talked about Ohaneze Ndibo. I want to make people understand something. You see, all of you who are dancing around and say Ohaneze Igbo in Biafraland, you are only playing the game of the Fulanis. You are only playing because Ohanese is created by the political through the political extension of Britain. Now, you must understand that because they understand the social style or the social lives of the people, they needed to come to the people socially. So they create a social cultural program or design called Ohanese and they present it to the people. So everything you do, you think you are doing under the auspices of Ohanese. No, you are doing under a planned control using social lifestyle as a means of control. So you must understand that those of you who belong to Ohanese and thinking that if you together agree under Ohanese and say you want to have a governor, for instance, and this person must be the governor, you think that that decision you are making is actually yours. It is not yours because the people that will be presented to you will be presented to you by the key people who are directly connected to Abuja or connected to Britain. They are the ones who will front, they are the ones who will check the people. These 5 people now we have, bring them, let's have them as our loyals. They prove them, they give them money, they make them good business people, they give them good money, they make them rich, they tell them in Buckingham Palace through Chatham House, they said, look at this, you are going to, we are putting the 5 of you for governorship, or any of you that wins, understand that you must continue with the narrative of Britain. You stand for Britain. You are working for Britain. You are actually our program for the people. So they bring them to you, and all you do is, wow, this man, oh, there are people. Ah, he's a lovable somebody. He's this, that, this, that. You are dancing around, not knowing that you are just running around the same people from the same background. That's why you see when they talk about Peter Obi, they talk about. Let me tell you why Ojukwu was not popular. Ojukwu was not in the mainstream program of Britain. He was never. How many Biafrans voted for him? How many votes did he get during the time when he was contesting for presidency? Did he get any? Anybody you see being supported and Britain is not saying anything and they are fronting them and all of that, like Peter Obi and all of that. They have already given their loyalty to Chatham House or to Buckingham Palace through Chatham House. So if you see them talking about politics and doing whatever they are doing it because they are already told to move in that way under the social cultural behavior, so that the people also will think that they are for the people. So you will come and post today I was here, blah blah, I went here, blah, I saw this, when people, they are suffering, I'm donating so amount for the other. All those things are social cultural activities. As they say, the more you look, the less you see. Those are the more you look, the less you see activities that would put you trapped and deceived, like the Hausa nation was deceived and they were conquered. So you must understand that the social style and lifestyle of the people is the means through which the people are conquered. That is where Ohanese Ndibo plays critical role to social and economic and political control of the people. Every political person comes from the Ohanese because there they are groomed to behave like the people, to play the game of the people, to make the people believe they are part of them. From there they are appointed. They are appointed and taken, and then you think they are part of you. The same way conquering you year in, year out, every 4 years, and always, as the Hausa nation was permanently, they were permanently conquered. Now we are also being permanently conquered, but leadership being changed from time to time. Now, I'm going to end this broadcast here because it's just become so long, 53 minutes now, or going on 54 minutes. I would continue on this narrative tomorrow. Please, people need to hear this message of truth. I want you to please share on all your social media platforms. I want you also to like this video, because when you like it, the people that are on your friend lists and followers would also see it. When you share it, it goes further to the people directly. When you like it, it reaches the people you didn't share to, but they are on your friend list. Then when you subscribe, it makes YouTube discover our channel more quickly and to spread it far so that people can hear this truth. Biafrans, I'm going to talk more on this because what I'm trying to analyze is the proximity, the issue of Benue in connection to what is the plan that is coming to Biafra. Some of you don't understand that conquering Benue is dangerous to Biafra nation. You must understand this. Some of you think that it's happening in Benue. That's it. I will give you details of how the plan is, why Mazen Khan is still where he is, the plan that they already have, and the people who are behind these plans, the people who are showing them, who are their spies, and who are going to carry out this massive attack in Biafraland, where they are right now, and those funding them. And I'll give you the narrative, the connection to all of this stuff, so that you will understand where we are coming from and how we should work to stop this madness now, rather than jubilate. Look at, I've told you that 90% of what we post on social media are just nonsense. Somebody's asking, which style do you like? Doggy style, what happens? This is nonsense. That's what we're posting. Whereas people are dying, things are happening, evils are taking place, things are going on everywhere. And all we're busy doing is talk about dog style, doggy, and talk about one food, this, that, blah, blah. And very terrible for us that we're not sensitive. We're making the same mistake that Hausa nations made. Hausa nation made. The same mistakes Hausa nation made. Those are the mistakes we're making. We are too careless about important things. We are very trivial with important things. And we are very bogus, massive on irrelevancies, and we embrace irrelevancies so much, in contrast to how we deal with important things. It is our weakness in Biafraland. We must guard and protect our weaknesses. Please like and share. Please join me, hopefully by tomorrow morning again. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to, so that I keep the tempo on this particular matter. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Ego. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Gaddafi is here. Oh my, Gaddafi of Biafra. I want to thank you guys. I don't know who else is here, but I can see, I think I see 4 views now. Those days when I'm broadcasting, I see lots of views because I'm talking the things they don't like, talking against their man. They have reduced, and the DOS also don't like me. So somebody's asking me, where do you stand? Well, where do you belong? You're talking against DOS, and you're talking against, Simon. I can't belong to the two sides because they are not actually showing that they belong to Biafra. They are manipulating forces. The DOS, my problem is not the DOS as a structure, as an arm of the structure. No, my problem are the people in it sitting on that seat. My problem with the other one, Autopilot, is total, including the group and everything, because they were conceived through deceit. That group was conceived under the auspices of deceit. They want to just deceive you, collect your monies, and eat what belongs to you. Standing for the truth. Yes, that's where I stand. The truth is standing. If the DOS want us, the DOS will make sense to me and people also who are on the path of truth when Mazen Khan comes out, and then that place is revitalized, revamped. That's when we'll believe in that DOS. For now, we understand, we accept the structure, we accept the structure as Mazen Khan places it, but the people there now are suspects. We cannot work with them because we don't know who amongst them is giving information to the Nigeria contraption. Thank you so much for your contributions and your messages. Your messages also have given insight to people watching from wherever they are watching from. Thank you, Ego, for your contributions. They have given insight to people. You said some things that are strong here and helped me also to make points here. Thank you so much. Please like this video if you're watching. Don't fail to like it, and also share, and also subscribe if you have not subscribed. I'll meet you again tomorrow, same time. 9:30 a.m. Biafra time tomorrow. 9:30 a.m. I'll be here and we'll expand on this notion and this idea. We're going to expand on it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your day. And please, if it is night, sleep well, sweetly sleep. Enjoy your night. If it is evening, enjoy your dinner and everything, and let you go keep protecting and guide you. Let me go and do work too. And as you also, those of you who are at work also, you do your thing today. Thank you so much. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, and as always, standing for the truth under the auspices of Truth Channel Network. God bless you very good.